Holocaust, based in Seattle, Washington, has taken on the project of videotaping eyewitness accounts of the Holocaust from those individuals who survived the Nazi reign of terror. Millions of people were annihilated just because they were Jewish. The goals of this project are, first, to educate the current and future generations about the Holocaust, with the hope that those who learn what happened will not allow it to happen again, never again to any group of people. Second, to refute false allegations by neo-Nazis and revisionist historians that the Holocaust never occurred. And third, to refute the commonly held notion that the Jewish people offered little, if any, resistance to the Nazis. The voices of the dead are silent. The voices of the survivors must live on forever. My name is Lynn Chapman. Today I am interviewing Harry Busch, a Holocaust survivor. He was born in Prague, Czechoslovakia. Mr. Busch, what name did you go by at that time?
Harry Busch, Jindřich Busch.
And what were your parents' names?
My parents' name was Elsa Busch, George Busch.
And what about brothers and sisters?
I had a brother, Otto Busch, and two sisters, one Margaret and one Helen.
And is that the order that they were born in? Who came first?
First, my older sister Margaret came.
Okay, and then
my younger sister Helen.
Okay, and what kind of work did your father do?
My father was an art dealer.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, he was selling paintings, art all over the world. He had very good business.
Was he home very often?
He was home just twice or three times a year. He came home.
And what would you say your standard of living was like?
It was very good because we had a cook at home and we had a maid at home and we had everything we had what we needed. I mean, we were supported very good.
Did you have other relatives that were living in the area?
No.
So no brothers or sisters of your parents or anything?
They were in Austria.
Okay. Can you describe life at that time in the Jewish community?
In Czechoslovakia, there wasn't much, Jewishness over there. It wasn't a religious town like, in other towns, big towns. It was a lot of mixtures, Gentiles and Jews. They didn't know anything about mixed persons, like Jewish or non-Jewish. There was a lot of mixed marriages there too.
So you didn't live in a Jewish community?
No, not quite, no.
Okay. Was your family religious?
No.
Okay. Was your family involved politically at all?
No.
What kind of schooling did you receive, or your brother, and also your brothers and sisters?
I had 5 grade schools, and then I had three high schools, and I had 2 business schools. So 2 years of business.
So you went to 5 years of grade school?
Yeah.
And 2 years of high school?
3 years of high school and 2 years of business school.
Do you remember the name of the business school?
No.
No. What did you do? Did you work after you left business school?
After I left, I was working for a leather company selling leather for shoemakers and pocket bootmakers, and I was learning the trade.
And did you experience any anti-Semitism before things began to change, before the occupation?
Oh yeah, there were a lot of anti-Semitism. There were a lot of people, against the Jews. They were calling us names when we were kids. I remember they were calling us names and they were fighting the Jews and the Gentiles.
Can you remember any specific incidents that you can tell me about?
We used to go to a park. We lived not far away from a park. And we used to play there, and they used to holler at us, Jew, dirty Jew. And we just ignored it because we didn't want to fight. Our parents always told us, don't fight. So we stayed in the background.
How did you interact with your brothers and sisters? Do you remember any leisure activities that you participated in together?
Well, we went to camp together, and we went outing. We went boat. You know, we had a kayak. We used to go boating, and we used to do everything what the young kids do. You know.
Okay, and can you tell me when life began to change for you and your family and when you were living in Prague?
The time when I went when the Germans came in, that was a big change.
And when was that approximately?
It was about in 1939.
Do you remember what time of year that was?
I've got no idea. I know it wasn't winter time. It was either fall or spring.
So it was warmer weather.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and what happened when they came in? What do you recall?
When they came in, the first thing they gave all the Jews, they got the Jews together and they gave them all the stars to wear. And they sent him to work, you know, they took him out of businesses and they took away everything they had. And that's how it started.
And what happened to your family specifically?
My family, my dad wasn't there, you know, he was someplace in Vienna, and my mother stayed with us, and she just took care of us, and we went to work. My sister worked in our office, and I worked, and we all worked. Every kid worked.
So what happened to you after the Germans came in and you had to wear the star? What were some incidents that occurred early on that you recall?
Early on, there was an incident, but that was a little later on. I went, first we went to that working, we had to go to work someplace in Ústí nad Labem.
Can you spell that for me?
Ústí-nad-Labem.
And so that was right, how many months after the occupation? Would you say?
That was about a couple months after the occupation.
And where was that Ústí nad Labem located?
That was in the Sudeten someplace. In the
Sudetenland
Sudetenland, yeah.
in Germany?
Yeah, not in Germany. It was Sudeten, was in Czechoslovakia.
Oh, I see.
Before you came to Germany, it was Sudetenland.
And how far was that from Prague?
I would say about 100 miles, or maybe a little less, 120.
Can you tell me the circumstances of your going there? Like, who did you go with, and how were you taken, and all of that?
I went to a movie, and I took my star off, my Jewish star, and when the movie finished, there was outside couple guys, and they were rounding up everybody, were checking everybody up, and they cut us, and they brought us to the police station, to that SS police station, and that was, a few guys were cut that time.
And what happened to you after that?
After that, they sent us to the ghetto.
So did you go to, prior to that, the Ústí nad Labem, was that earlier on, before that time?
That was before, yeah.
And what did you do there?
We used to shovel snow, we used to do hard work, you know, whatever had to be done from the government sent us up there, you know. And
how did you get there? How were you transported?
they transported with buses.
Buses?
Yeah.
How were the conditions?
Well, the conditions were still good then.
At that time?
It wasn't bad, no.
Okay, so then you said that you had,
Yes.
how long were you there when you were shoveling snow?
We were there for a couple months or so. Yeah.
And was it when you came back that you were caught going to the theater?
No, that was before.
Okay.
I think that was before.
Okay, so what happened to you? What happened to you then after you were caught at the time when you went to the theater? Where did you go after that? Where did they send you? You said they sent you somewhere.
To Ústí nad Labem.
Okay, so then what happened after that?
After that we came back, and after that we went to the ghetto.
Okay.
They sent us to the ghetto.
And which
I mean, I got it.
and
maybe-
which ghetto was that?
That was Theresienstadt.
And how did you go to that ghetto, to Theresienstadt?
By train.
And can you
From
tell?
Prague. From Prague. From the name of the station was Wilsonovi nádraží.
And what were the conditions of your traveling to
The traveling was
Theresienstadt?
okay. There was nothing. Regular train. It was a regular train
Do you,
with seats. You know.
do you remember how many people went with you?
There must have been about 200-300 people.
Okay. And when you got there, what happened?
When we got there, they that was in Theresienstadt. I got a job in the kitchen. I used to help cooking. I never cooked in my life, but I cooked, and that's about all I did there.
Okay, can we go back for a moment? And I'm sorry to stop you here, but when you were in Ústí nad Labem, what kind of work did you say you worked there?
I worked on the roads. We shoveled snow there. Worked on the roads, you know, with the cobblestones. We helped
Okay.
to laying the roads and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay, now we're
All
going to
labor.
okay, now we're going to go forward again. When you were in Theresienstadt, tell me what you said you worked in the kitchen,
Yeah,
and why don't we go on from there?
I worked in the kitchen, and then later on, we had to get some coal for the kitchen and for the barracks. You know, they were heating the barracks, I guess. So we had to go and get our own coal, dug the coal in Kladno. That's about, I would say, about 50 miles from Theresienstadt.
What was that like?
You went down into the coal mine. It was pretty hot there, but we didn't mind. The people were very nice. They used to bring us food to the workers what worked there, you know. And they were very nice to us, actually. You know, we were glad to be in that coal mine because we didn't have no guards or nothing over there, you know. There were no guards like in Theresienstadt. There were SS and police, you know, but not there.
Were you transported back and forth between Theresienstadt
I'm
and the
not
coal mine?
sure. I think either we did been transported with a bus every day, or I don't know. I don't remember anymore. But I think maybe we stayed there. We stayed there in a restaurant that had a big hall, and I remember like they had some straw mattresses on the floor, and we used to sleep on the mattresses.
How was life? What was life like when you were in Theresienstadt? How were you treated actually in the ghetto itself?
In the ghetto, it wasn't too bad, especially for us, for the people that started. We actually started the ghetto. We cleaned up everything there. They were, you know, it was awful there. I mean, it was an old army base there, and they trained there. It was underground. Everything was underground. You know, it wasn't over. It was like hills around, and nobody would know that there's anything there, you know. It wasn't very comfortable for the other people, you know, for the people to be in that. A lot of them died there. Older people came from all over, from Austria and from Poland and from all over. I mean, a lot of people came up there.
How many people were in that
There were
ghetto?
in that ghetto, there must have been about 5,000 people.
Do you remember how old you were at that time?
About 19 years old.
19. Do you recall any resistance activities during that time?
No.
And were there any experiences that you can remember of significance that happened while you were there?
There was, like I said, a lot of older people came, and they didn't survive maybe a week or 2 weeks because the food wasn't that hot, you know, that good.
Did you know anybody there?
Not really. People were from all over, you know, from, like I said, from Austria and from Hungary, from Belgium. They all shipped him over there before they shipped him to the death camp.
And what happened to your family?
My family, they got all gassed in the gas chamber.
At Theresienstadt, when they...
Not in Theresienstadt, in Auschwitz. I mean, when we left for Auschwitz.
So your family, was your family in Theresienstadt?
My family my mother came to Theresienstadt when I came back from the coal mine, and they asked us if we want to go with them on a holiday. So if we want to go, we can go. If not, we can stay the whole war through. But I didn't want to let my mother go by herself, so I said I go with her on a vacation. They called it a vacation, but it was the gas chamber.
Was any of your other family with your mother?
My sister and my brother-in-law.
And did they go with you as well?
No, they didn't. They didn't. They weren't called that time.
Do you know what happened?
They must have gone after. Oh yeah, I know that they were put in the gas chamber too, because I found out in Israel there's a place you can look up, you know, where your relations are, if they're any of them alive or not. So they show you a book, and in the book it tells you alphabetically.
You had mentioned you had another brother and sister.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned your one sister, and you said her husband was with her?
My sister and my brother.
You mentioned one sister that came to Theresienstadt, but what happened to your other sister and
the
brother?
Other sister went to Palestine, illegal, with my brother.
And how did they go there?
They went on a boat from Romania. They picked him up in Romania. They picked him up in Czechoslovakia. We had to pay a certain amount of money. We didn't have enough money to go, all of us, then, you know, because my father was away. We didn't hear from him for a while then, and we didn't have enough money, so we just could send them two, and we paid for the 2 tickets, and they went to Romania, and they had to build a boat. It was a freight boat over there, and I think a lot of people, Jewish people, helped him up there in Romania. And they went to Palestine, and then in Palestine, when they came to Palestine, they joined the English army. They were in the English army for the rest of the war.
They
were fighting with the Czechoslovakian army together against the Germans.
Did they leave before the occupation of Czechoslovakia?
No, it was occupied already. That was illegal. They were illegal transports.
I see.
If you had money, you could go.
Okay, well, let's return to your story. And you had said that your mother and you left to go somewhere. Yeah. Where did you go? And tell me.
We went to Auschwitz.
Can you tell me about your trip to Auschwitz?
The trip to Auschwitz in the cattle cars.
Can you describe them for me?
And no, they were cars where you transport cattle. And there was nothing there, no toilets, no nothing. You were standing up and were pushed together like herrings. You couldn't move around. They didn't even give you any food. You didn't have any food, nothing. And that's how we stayed in that train for about a couple of days or so.
Did you sleep?
No, we couldn't sleep. I mean, we fell asleep standing up.
And how many days did it take you?
No, I don't remember anymore. I'm sure it was a day and a night, a couple of days.
And when you got to your destination?
And we got there, and the name of the place we stopped was Weimar.
And where was that located?
That was in Auschwitz. I think. I'm not 100%, but I remember the name was Weimar. And there they unloaded us, you know, they pulled us out of the wagons.
Who were the people that were pulling?
SS. The SS, yeah, they pulled us out. And I recall my mother got beaten. She didn't want to go, let me go. We were holding each other. She was full of blood in the face. They knocked her down into the floor. and they threw up on a truck.
Was this the SS?
That was
That
the
did-
SS, yeah. And she went to one side and I went to the other side. So one was for the gas chamber and the other one was for working purposes, I guess. That's what happened.
Did you know which side you were going to and which side your mother was going to?
Yeah, because they told us your mother is going there. See that smoke up there, she's going up there. She'll be there after a while.
So was that the first time you realized?
Yeah.
About the
then I
gas
knew,
chambers?
Yeah. I mean, I realized right away when we came to Auschwitz that something fishy.
So what happened to you when you actually went into Auschwitz? Can you describe how you were feeling or what you saw?
I saw a lot of things. I saw we were marching up from the train station, and there was roads made out of ashes from the dead people what they burned after they gassed them, and you see hands over there and fingers and feet, you know, leveled out in a road. You know, you could still see the actual hands and fingers and feet. You know, the bones from.
And what happened to you while you were there?
What happened to me when I was in Auschwitz? I mean, when I was in Auschwitz, they brought us up there, and we had to stay day and night in mud about to my knees, and then they took us into the barracks, and that was kind of an appel every day. They had to take us out and in and out, and we had to kind of they put clothes on us, you know, that working clothes. I never had any shoes because my feet were too big, so I had to have rags to cover my feet. My feet are a lot frozen on, my toes are frozen up.
From that not
From-
wearing shoes. Can you describe to me what the barracks were like?
The barracks were like here, the housing project, I guess, looked like, you know, like once, not, there was no floors or anything, it was all dirt and must have been prefabricated, you know, barracks long, you know, about 200 feet long.
And how many people stayed in one room?
There were triple deckers, you know, one on top of the other. There were
Is that beds you're describing?
no beds. I mean,
Like-
there were no, just under wood. We slept just under wood. There was no beds.
No mattresses or
No mattresses, no.
just wood planks?
Yeah, wooden planks.
Okay.
And we put our clothes underneath.
Can you tell me about the work that you did there?
In Auschwitz? In Auschwitz, I didn't do very much work. We were waiting for our group to go to work someplace. So I was taken to that chicken farm there. There was a chicken farm up there, not far from there, must have been about 30, 40 miles. And I was feeding chickens there and was digging ditches, and we had to clean up the roads, and we had to clean up, make all the grass. There were a lot of swamp over there. We had to cut the grass with a sickle. And there was a SS and Kapo